On this week's show, the matchup is set for Super Bowl 56, and after 22 seasons and 7 Super Bowl titles, Tom Brady has officially retired.
In honor of Black History Month, this week's history lesson is a profile of pioneering black quarterback Bernie Custis, who played in the Canadian Football League.
That and so much more this week in the world of football.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of This Week in the World of Football. This is episode number 234 for February 1st, 2022.
Wow.
I want to say 2020. It's 2022. I'm your host, Randy Snow, and across the table from me, as always, is my son, Adam.
Wow, we are off to a great start. Man, you hitting the booze a little early today?
You know that today is Chinese New Year?
Yeah, I saw your dumb tweet about some fortune cookie, which I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna peel the curtain back. I'm pretty sure that's an old fortune cookie picture. You've been harboring that.
Well, it wouldn't have
You
had
made
the
it
impact unless I put it out today.
You made it sound like you just opened that cookie today. I want to call you.
Let's say I just found
call
it
you out,
in
sir.
the mess that is the kitchen table. But no, this is the year of the tiger. So does that bode well for the Bengals in the Super Bowl?
Why? What do the Bengals have to do with the Super Bowl?
Tiger.
No, but I'm just saying, I mean, we haven't gotten that far. For all I know, the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl.
Oh, well, sit back, relax, son. I'll tell you all about it later.
All right, cool.
We come to you each week from the World of Football Man Cave, located right here in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're here to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. From the NFL to the CFL to the USFL, college, high school, indoor, and arena football, we inform and entertain our listeners with the glorious buffet that is the world of football. All this while keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. Thanks for checking out our podcast. We'd love to get your feedback on one of our many platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and now YouTube, where we post the entire audio portion of this show each week, as well as other selected videos. So, let's see what happened this past week, and we begin with a World of Football scoreboard.
That's right. We start with the AFC Championship game on Sunday, and boy, oh boy, I think it's safe to say this might have been the greatest year of NFL playoffs we have ever had. At least the 2-week stretch was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we have been blessed as football fans to just get a lot of great storylines, a lot of great football just on the field. And
dare I say spoiled by these last 2 weeks?
I think we were spoiled. But let's talk about that game. The Cincinnati Bengals went into Kansas City, and boy, that place was loud. Every aspect of that game, it was just loud. Between the fans, at halftime when you couldn't hear the CBS crew talk about what was going on after the first half. Boy,
that was a mess.
Hey, I can't wait. I would love to go to Kansas City someday and see a game. I think that'd be great and nuts, and I'm all for it. But unfortunately, Kansas City, you only played one half of football really, really well.
Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, the way Kansas City had to play last week against the Bills, and then they come out this week and they just kind of throw up a stinker, kind of.
Kind of, sort of, but you know what? Give credit where credit is due to the AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals. That is right. They played a heck of a second half to defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 27-24 on a 31-yard field goal by Evan McPherson. I believe his first name is Evan. Mr. McPherson, the game-winning field goal was kicked in overtime, so we had an overtime playoff game.
Kansas City back-to-back weeks in the playoffs, overtime.
Relying on McPherson's foot to get him to the next round of the playoffs. Congratulations to them. Boy, I felt for those Bengals fans. Being a Lions fan, like, I'm hoping that we're them in a couple of years, But hey, this was a heck of a game. That first half was such a rout. It was 21 to 10 in the first half.
So, at one point.
And it was just like, man, the Bengals can't really get anything going. Adam might lose his bet. A lot on the line in the second half, and then whatever reason, I don't know if Kansas City didn't flip a switch, or if it was Cincinnati that flipped a switch, and just it was a totally different game in that second half. Cincinnati just played so much tougher, so much smarter, and Patrick Mahomes just seemed to have lost most of his magic. I mean, he still was able to drive down towards the end of the first half and get him that field goal to go into overtime, but man, this game had me on pins and needles at the end when you thought it was going to be a rout.
Yeah, I mean, at home with a crowd like that behind you, I'm just shocked that Kansas City lost that game. But like you said, kudos to the Bengals.
Yep.
They came out, they did what they had to do on the road in a hostile environment against a team that played phenomenally just a week before.
A team that's been in 2 straight Super Bowls, been in 3 straight AFC Championship games, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe no, that'd be 4 straight AFC Championship games because they lost to the Patriots, then they went, they beat 2 years in a row, then they lost this year.
And with the Lamar Hunt Trophy up for grabs, I mean, named after the founder of your team,
right?
The founder of the whole AFL. And oh man, I felt so bad for Kansas City.
But I mean, you got to give the love to Cincinnati.
Sure,
Joe Burrow is the real deal. Good for that kid.
Only in his second year.
And what a resume this dude's already put up. He was a national champion in college, Heisman Trophy winner in college. Gets drafted number 1 overall in the NFL. Sure, he has the horrible knee injury last year that knocked him out of the season. Otherwise, he would have been Rookie of the Year. Then this year, he comes out. He gets Jamar Chase, his former teammate, to kind of play along with him. And Jamar Chase has been incredible all season long. And Joe Burrow just has been clutch. Joe Burr, as they're calling him, Brrrr, however they're spelling it. Because the dude is just cold-blooded. So congratulations, Kansas City. I was very happy to see them win. I'm a little surprised that they won, and very just for the city of Cincinnati, for that fan base, who has been just as down in the dumps as Detroit has. Maybe not as bad because Kansas City, because Cincinnati's seen a lot of good years. They made the playoffs several years in a row under Marvin Lewis.
They have been to 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
The last one in January of 1989, and you weren't even born then.
I wasn't even born.
You were
then.
born 2 months later.
Yeah. So I've technically never seen the Bengals in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So first in my lifetime. So good for them.
Yep.
Anything else from this game before we move on?
No, just really surprised that the Chiefs didn't play better.
I think a lot of people are, but we'll talk about somebody who wasn't at all surprised. But we first must talk about the NFC Championship game. And this game, while maybe not as exciting as the AFC game, in my opinion, this still had a lot going for it. There were a lot of weird plays where referees were not calling penalties.
Yeah.
I thought this was a very chippy game.
Yep.
There's a play going around. I retweeted it of Stafford getting hit in the back of the head with another player. What a dirty play that was.
Never got called.
Never got called. There was a couple other plays that maybe the Rams even got away with a couple of things, but they let them play. This was a tough, knock them out, drag them out, fight. These 2 division rivals. The 3rd time they played this season. Half that stadium filled with San Francisco 49er fans. Just absolute craziness. And, of course, on the other side of the ball, you have Matthew Stafford on the day, a year to the day, that he was traded from the Detroit Lions to the Los Angeles Rams, competing in the NFC Championship game. And they got down. They were down 17-7 at one point. So down 10 points. It was looking real bad for the Rams, but Matthew Stafford did what Matthew Stafford did in Detroit for 12 years. He found a way to, come back and get them within, I think that he helped them tie it up. Then obviously they went and kicked the go-ahead winning field goal with 1:46 remaining.
Yep.
And that sends the Rams to the Super Bowl, which will be played in that same stadium 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, another home game for them in 2 weeks.
But the thing, I told you before the game, or when we were making our predictions, that Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be a big factor for me, and if the 49ers won this game or not. And he looked good.
He did.
Everybody was crapping on Jimmy G, but he showed up.
Yeah.
And I thought he looked pretty good. I mean, there was a really bad interception there at the end of the game, which wasn't totally his fault, which sealed it up pretty much, but you can't make that throw regardless. Even if your dude, caught that, that's still a little iffy. But hey, we of course, us being Lions fans, we've been rooting for Matthew Stafford. We've kind of been pseudo Rams fans for these playoffs. Not that I've picked the Rams a whole lot in the playoffs, other than this game. But boy, it was nice to see Matthew Stafford on that podium at the end of the game, taking that trophy. I don't know about you. I can't speak for how you were feeling emotionally seeing Stafford. I teared up seeing him hold, I'm not kidding. When Terry Bradshaw pulled him up and was holding the NFC trophy, I teared up. I was like, this dude deserves it. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, no, he definitely deserves it. He put that team on his back late in the game, and
he almost put the team on his back in the bad way when he threw that one bad pass that the 49er defender didn't pick off. But,
yeah. But still, we've been rooting for Stafford, of
course,
pretty much all season long. It's if it can't be with Detroit, then I'm not a Rams fan. I'm a Stafford fan, and I'm really rooting for him to win it all this year, legitimize his career. I mean, in one season, he can show everybody what a great quarterback he is that we've known for 12 years. He just hasn't had the good team around him in Detroit.
Yep.
Now he's got the good team there, and he's still doing what he was doing in Detroit. This is not a surprise to any Lions fan.
Well, hold on. I won't say to any. Before. There were some sewer people, Lions fans, who thought Stafford was always the problem. And if anything, hopefully this validates that, hey, look, if Detroit would have built the team around Stafford like this, had a defense, had a coach that was competent and willing to take chances, and trust Stafford, this could have been the result in Detroit. And, the meme's going around. Gee, if only Detroit had a quarterback like Matthew Stafford, maybe they would have gone to a Super Bowl. Yeah, we've seen all the memes, everybody. Greg, I know you're out there listening. But good for Stafford, and I think some of us Lions fans, and I've been trying to tell people for a long time, Stafford is better than his record with the Lions. He was 0-3 in playoff games with Detroit. He's already played in 3 playoff games with the Rams, and he's 3-0 in these playoff games. I don't know if this turns his career into a Hall of Fame career all of a sudden just by this one season.
Well, I don't know. If he wins a Super Bowl, that's like got half his foot in the door. But because
he's got all the numbers.
His stats.
He's got stats. He's got numbers. A Super Bowl would legitimize it, especially being 12 years with a crappy team. And then all of a sudden you have 1 year with a good team and you were able to do what you're supposed to do as the quarterback you should be.
Right.
I won't say he's a lock for Pro Bowl for Hall of Fame, but it at least gets him in that conversation.
It would give him a serious look by a lot of the voters once they throw all of his stats in.
Yep. And so, yes, that sets up the matchup at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California, between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams 2 weeks from this week. It should be a very interesting game. We'll make our picks in a couple weeks, I'm sure, officially. But that's the matchup. How you feeling?
Well, neither of these teams have ever won a Super Bowl.
Well, the Rams have won a Super Bowl. We literally just saw a movie about a Rams quarterback.
Not the L.A. Rams.
But the Rams have. That franchise has.
Not the L.A. Rams.
Oh, my God. They're the same franchise. I'm not going to split hairs with you. That's like saying the Oakland Raiders never won a Super Bowl, but they're the Los Angeles Raiders. They have that many Super Bowls. Come on. You going to tell me that the new Washington team, even though they don't have a team name, they've never won a Super Bowl? They got 3. Come on. Just because they changed cities.
The one in Washington just changed their name. They didn't change their location. They went off and became somebody different. The Rams did.
But they're still the Rams.
I know it.
Oh, my gosh. I'm not splitting hairs with you. The Los Angeles Rams have Super Bowls underneath their banner. So it's not going to be a first Super Bowl for them. Gosh. Yeah. They're first in L.A., but you can't say they've never won a Super Bowl. Gosh, what a terrible
The L.A. Rams have never won a Super Bowl.
Whatever. And before we move on, I do want to mention, I don't know if you saw this story, the guy who bet $20 on the conference championship games this weekend, he made $500,000.
I did not.
Somebody was out there, he put $20, I think they said he put $20 down on the games. He guessed the exact outcomes and exact scores for both games and pulled up $500,000 in winnings for just putting down $20. So kudos to that guy. I was only able to pull in a couple hundo from my bets this weekend, but I didn't bet money line. I bet I like the fun bets, like Stafford has to throw a certain amount of yardage, certain people got to catch touchdowns, and I got lucky. Joe Burrow was supposed to throw 250 yards in that first game, and he got 250 exactly, I believe, on his stat sheet. I'll even double check right now because they had to go to overtime for him just to get that 250 yards. I was sweating bullets there. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to be out. Yep, 250 exactly. So I got real lucky on that first game. But, yeah, bet responsibly, everybody. That's all I'm going to say. And that is it for the World of Football scoreboard. We're going to throw it over to not the scoreboard completely, I guess. There's one college game
there was
you want to
one
talk
college.
about.
I saw about 30 seconds of this game.
We're gonna talk about this for a half hour. Here we go, everybody. Buckle in as we expound upon a game Randy's only watched for 30 seconds.
No, I just looked up the results. Like I said, I saw a little bit of it. couldn't even tell you who was on the field at the time. But in the NFL Players Association Collegiate Bowl, which was played at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, the national team defeated the American team by the score of 25-24. And like I said, that was on ESPN, I think. The thing about this is they send them to these games with a lot of their college team helmet logo stickers, and so players are putting extra stickers on their helmets from the other players, and that's kind of a tradition there. I'm not sure if I get it, but it's unique to this game or to some of these. I don't know if the other All-Star games do this, but it's kind of interesting. But yeah, there was a college All-Star game being played, and it was in Pasadena, and we've got some more coming up yet. All right. And that's it. That's it for the World of Football scoreboard.
Wow.
All right. Well, let's get into some NFL news. Nothing really happened this week.
What do you mean nothing really happened this week? There's nothing but drama this week.
Yeah, a few days ago they came out and...
we have retirements. We have head coach hirings.
They leaked the news that Tom Brady has officially retired after 22 seasons and winning 7 Super Bowls.
But then that was quick, so that got leaked.
Right.
That was like after we finished recording last
Adam
week.
Schefter or somebody else, or a couple of people said that. Oh yeah, he's officially retired. And then he came out just yesterday on his own podcast and said, I haven't made up my mind yet, blah, blah, blah. And then today, February 1st, he made the official announcement, I guess on Instagram, that he is officially retired.
I think it's like a 9-page thing.
Yeah.
The big story coming out of that I saw was he never mentioned the Patriots or Bill Belichick. What?
Right.
Who cares? It's not about them. He did his goodbye with them, and it's a non-story. I think people are making that a big deal, but it's not a big deal.
And then Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, put out a congratulations on your retirement. You've meant a lot to our team. And then Brady retweeted that. So that's how he got around not saying anything about the Patriots, but he just retweeted the owner's tweet fine. Oh yeah, hey, I really appreciate you guys. Yeah, thanks, bye.
Non-story. So look, we got to.
Hey, the Brady haters will love that story, and we'll never forget that story. But
and you're one of the Brady haters. So.
I'm not a fan, but
so I was going to ask you. So okay, just real quick, I know you've never been a big fan of Tom Brady.
No.
But would you concede that he is the greatest quarterback of all time?
Obviously, he's one of the best ever.
No, not one of. No, I said, is he the best quarterback of all time?
In the Super Bowl era, yeah.
Is he the best quarterback of all time, yes or no? Don't give me these caveats.
He's the best in my lifetime.
Is
so
he
far.
In the... I hate how you're skirting around this.
Take what you got and be happy with it.
I'm never happy with it. Look, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback, probably one of the greatest players to ever play the game.
You can't deny, 10 Super Bowl appearances, 7 wins, 7 rings.
You can't, and the fact, especially when he moved to Tampa Bay, the fact that he kind of willed that team. I mean, they had some pieces there, but he kind of willed that team to a Super Bowl his first season there and winning the Super Bowl in their own stadium. Like that kind of cemented him. I think, of course, he already had the 6 titles before that with one team, but I think the fact that he left the coach that everybody said, is he a system quarterback, blah, 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 all that. He went and he played his heart out. Here he was just this last season. He might not have a Super Bowl to show for it, but the dude at 44 years old is doing more than a lot of people at that age. Mm-hmm. Most of those people are starting to, go to the RX and get their walkers checked in, putting the tennis balls on the legs. My back's already hurting, and I'm 32. I'm 10 years younger than Tom Brady. I got back issues, and this dude's out here 44 slinging nuclear bombs across a football field. So, I mean, Tom Brady, I'm not going to say, I loved Tom Brady in the way, a Patriots fan would, or a fan of, not like Stafford. I love Stafford. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying Stafford's better than Tom Brady, but I cannot deny that Tom Brady has the accolades, has the hardware, and just the resume of one of the greatest to ever play. Sure, he owns some of the stats, and I think some of the stats will get broken at some point, but he did so much. All his quote-unquote playoff wins will be hard to beat, and he's left a mark on the league. You laugh, but it's true.
Deflategate.
And hey, not without controversy, so... Whatever. Like I said, I'm not a Tom Brady fan. I'm probably not going to go out and buy a Tom Brady jersey anytime soon. Maybe we got these cool you got your Alex Karras Hall of Fame.
Yep.
thing. I mean, if I saw Tom Brady, I'd think about it. The greatest quarterback of all time, I'd think about getting something like that, maybe. Yeah. So,
well, of course, he's going to be a first.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
First ballot Hall of Famer in 5 years. That's a given.
Yeah.
So I mean, he deserves it. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's done more than anybody else ever. I heard something today that he has more Super Bowls than than any other franchise has.
Yeah.
No other franchise has 7 Super Bowls, and he's got 7 rings.
He's got 7 rings. Yeah. So, hey, congratulations, Tom Brady. It was a heck of a career. 22 seasons is nothing to sneeze at. And you deserve it. Go into retirement gracefully. I'm curious what he's going to do next.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe he'll be doing commercials with Peyton Manning.
Oh my God! If he teams up with the Manning brothers, this could be the greatest thing to ever happen. Hold on, those 3 and Marshawn Lynch, please, somebody in the football heavens, make that happen.
Don't replace Cooper on those commercials though, because he's
I'm telling you, Cooper,
hysterical.
Cooper, sideline reporter at best.
Well, in all the news today and the last few days of Tom Brady retiring, what got lost was the fact that Ben Roethlisberger also announced his retirement after 18 seasons in the NFL.
Yeah.
So you've got Roethlisberger gone. You've got Brady gone. Who knows what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
Is he going to find another team? Does that make Matthew Stafford the best quarterback in the NFL right now? If all 3 of those are gone?
No, because you still got Patrick Mahomes.
Well...
I'm going to stop you right there. Look, I think it seems like every few years we kind of get, when we start losing some of these older quarterbacks, like remember when Marino and Elway
right.
and
Peyton?
Well, no, I'm talking about that era when like it was Marino and he had Elway go out, Brett Favre was retiring, that kind of era there when they were walking out, everybody's like, oh, who's going to, I don't think the next generation, is going to step up like they did, but it seems like it's always being restocked, refilled. And then after that,
a new crop.
Yep, then the new crop came in, with your Roethlisberger, your Mannings, your Aaron Rodgers, and we got all of them, and now we got your Mahomes, your Joe Burrows, your I won't say Deshaun Watson, but we got a lot of young quarterbacks who have a lot of potential right now. Josh Allen. Come on, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are already showing that they could be the next Brady versus Manning rivalry.
Yeah, that's going to be a rivalry for years to come.
We're in good hands. And then Matthew Stafford, he's kind of sitting in there. He's kind of now an elder statesman now. I think him and Aaron Rodgers have got to be, well, then Derek Carr probably as well, got to be the 3 of the longest tenured quarterbacks now in the NFL to start. So... Aaron Rodgers is that next dude. He's the next one. Like, how long is he going to be playing?
Yeah, will he go to a different team?
And
speaking of different teams, last week we had 9 teams that were looking for head coaches based on what happened last year. And this week, the Denver Broncos have hired Nathaniel Hackett as their new head coach. He's the former Packers offensive coordinator. Does that mean that Aaron Rodgers might be going to Denver?
That's where my speculation is right now. What does Denver have to do to get Aaron Rodgers? I know Aaron Rodgers restructured his deal. He did something to maybe opt out at the end of this season. I don't know whether that means he can just get released or if it have to be a trade. And the Packers got they're over the salary cap. That's something we didn't talk about was the salary cap situations with a lot of these teams where the Packers and Saints are in the negative for next season already. So it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't Denver the team that everybody was saying he was going to go to last year?
There was a lot of
He wasn't coming back to Green Bay. He was going to go to Denver.
Yep.
And so, now it's another year, and his offensive coordinator is there as a head coach. So who knows what's going to happen? Stay tuned. If and when it happens, we'll be here to talk about it and make no sense.
If it happens, he'll find a way to overshadow the Super Bowl or something.
And then also this past week, the Bears hired Colts defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus, and I had to look him up.
Bless you.
I had to go because I knew I wasn't pronouncing it right earlier today, so I found a video where somebody was talking to him, and they introduced him, and it's because I was going to say Eberflus, but it's Eberflus. Never heard of this guy before. So.
Haven't either. Apparently, he used to play for the Bears.
Never heard the name. I don't know.
I watched a little bit of his press conference. I saw the Bears Twitter retweet a bit of it, saying that going through, the typical coach speak of, we're going to do this. This is what our team's going to be, and we're going to take the North and never give it back. And I just laughed. I was like, what a press conference. I guess I'm spoiled from a head coach doing a press conference, the first time joining a team, talking about biting kneecaps and, just making all the media headlines there.
Hard to beat that first speech that he had.
It is, but hey, second longest tenured coach in the NFC North, the Lions got.
Yeah. Let's see. Who else? The Giants hired the Bills' offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
I would have said Daboll.
Well, it's probably Daboll. And then the Raiders have hired the Patriots' offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniel, as their head coach. So now we're down to just 5 teams with head coaching vacancies. You still got the New Orleans Saints, Jacksonville Jaguars, Miami Dolphins, Minnesota Vikings, and Houston Texans. And we kept hearing this rumor all this week. I'm assuming this made national news, but here in Michigan, the rumor is that Jim Harbaugh, the University of Michigan head coach, has interviewed for the Vikings job.
Yep.
I don't get that.
And I saw stuff saying that he was talking to the Miami Dolphins too. Like he went down and interviewed with them. So I don't know how true any of these are. I haven't seen any news. I did see that he was going to interview with the Vikings, I believe today. That'd be a big loss for Michigan. I thought for sure Harbaugh would at least stick it out. But the NFL, if he comes back to the NFL, watch out. That'll be a scary team with him coming back. I think he could turn whatever team he joins around.
I don't know. I just thought that he was firmly entrenched in the University of Michigan. I think the school loved him. They were very patient with him, and because he couldn't beat Ohio State for several years, and now he finally did that this year and got him into the playoffs. And now he's going to jump ship and go back to the NFL. It makes no sense at all to me.
I think when you're a guy with his type of football drive, when he went to San Francisco, he went to 3 straight NFC Championship games, went to a Super Bowl. And, he showed that he turned that team, because the Niners were nothing before he showed up, and he turned that team around. Then, he leaves there to come, because after 3 years, by that third year, I guess he had worn out his welcome. But then goes to Michigan, took him 6 years, but eventually, they won a Big Ten title. They're number 2 in the country at one point, going to the national championship playoff, and, get the doors blown off of him in that last game. You would think that'd be motivation enough for him to stick around with Michigan and keep building that program up now that they're there. But maybe he likes that challenge, taking a team and just start building them up till you get to the promised land, and win or lose, then you go on to the next adventure.
I don't know. But we're going to move on to a little college news here, and this is a couple weeks old, but I thought the other day that we never really talked about the final Associated Press poll for the college football.
It's because it's the Associated Press. Who cares?
Well, whatever. But anyway, I'm looking at it here, and of course Georgia number 1 wins the national championship, 14-1 record, followed by Alabama at 2, Michigan at 3, Cincinnati at 4. So naturally, the 4 teams that were in the playoffs are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I just thought some of the other ones, who came close, was interesting. Baylor at number 5, Ohio State number 6, Oklahoma State 7, Notre Dame number 8, Michigan State number 9, and Oklahoma number 10. Some of these teams like Baylor, I didn't realize that Baylor was that close to a top 10 team. I mean, I didn't follow them that much, but it just surprised me that Baylor ended up number 5 in this poll.
Postseason rankings like this in college football are equivalent to being the runner-up of your high school prom. It don't matter. Unless you got the crown on your head at the end of the night, it don't matter.
Like being voted the nicest guy in prison?
Exactly. Or being voted most changed since freshman year of high school. Oh, wait, I did win that award. Crap.
But from 11 to 20, you got Ole Miss at 11. Then Utah.
Oh my God, are we still?
Pittsburgh.
I'm stopping. No, stop.
Clemson dropped all the way to 14. They were supposed to be in the playoffs.
I'm going to stop you right there because I'm going to bring up. We need to get this posted somewhere in the room, so you can keep this in mind whenever you do this. If you ain't first, you're last.
I know it really makes nothing. It makes no sense, but I just thought it was interesting some of the teams that were on this list for the final top 25.
Unless I see Western Michigan on that list, I do not care. Or like a smaller school like Jackson State. That'd be impressive too.
Yeah. But anyway, if you're interested in it, the list is out there. All right, let's go to some USFL news. We talked last week how 6 out of the 8 coaches had been hired for the 8 teams that are going to be this year. And just the other day, the last 2 coaches were announced. The New Orleans Breakers hired Larry Fedora, who I'm not familiar with at all. Yep. But then the Michigan Panthers hired Jeff Fisher as their head coach. What do you think about that?
Former NFL head coach, took a team to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean,
he was with the Rams, St. Louis Rams, that other Rams team, and with the Titans.
No, he was with the Tennessee Titans, and then he went to the Los Angeles Rams at one point. He was with I think he was with the transitioning St. Louis to Los Angeles coach. But I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like seeing Jim Fossil go from the NFL to the UFL back in what was it, mid 2000s, late 2000s?
Yeah, I forget the timeline for that league.
Like 2009 or whatever that league came out. I don't remember. You're the football history dude, but I don't know. We'll see. When I see the final product on the field come that first weekend of games in the USFL, I'll just decide then. But right now I'm just like, you just got a name. That's all it is. You got a name. I can't buy into this league wholeheartedly yet.
Yeah,
I'm excited, but I'm like 1 foot in, 1 foot ready to just jump ship.
Yeah, I was excited when I heard that they were bringing it back, but it's not the same as it was in the 80s.
We know what it is.
It's going to look like the old teams, which I love.
They slapped a fresh coat of paint on the spring league.
Yeah.
And, instead of the 8 team names they had, they just said, well, let's just use the USFL team names and bring back nostalgia.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That way we can get the fans from the 80s to watch this stuff because it's all the teams they remember.
And then, because, spring football should work. People want it.
Absolutely.
But then you piss off a Michigan Panthers fan sitting across from me because you tweaked the logo enough. And, they're off to a bad start.
Ever. I will not buy anything with that new logo on it. I will buy stuff only with the 1983
I'm going to buy you so
logo.
much of that stuff for Father's Day, and you will wear it.
You will not.
You will be a grateful
father.
Washing
the car with it.
I'm going to kick your butt. Wow, I got real tense up in here. Should we move on to a more happy, upbeat story?
Yeah. What about your Twitter poll from last week?
I haven't checked in on that.
Yeah, go check the results.
Okay,
you put up a Twitter poll last week
after the show was over.
It was right after the show. And you asked, of the 3 eligible teams for HBO's Hard Knocks this coming year, who do you want to see in it? And the 3 were the Detroit Lions, the Carolina Panthers, and the New York Jets. So you get the results there?
Yes. So let's start. We'll start from the bottom and work our way to who got the most. So in third place, with 0%, the Carolina Panthers.
Nobody wants to
see the Panthers.
Nobody wants to see Cam Newton? Come on.
If he's even with the team at that point.
Yeah,
even if Sam Darnold's with the team at that point. Like, who knows what they're going to do with their quarterback situation. Did you see that they even supposedly were one of the teams really trying to trade for Matt Stafford? That came out this past week. That was interesting. All right, so then we move on. In second place in the poll with a whopping 19%. The New York Jets. And then, in first place, with 81% of the vote, the kneecap-biting, Honolulu blue-wearing Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I got a feeling they will be on Hard Knocks this year.
My hands hurt.
I think they're going to be the story of the offseason. How well they did at the end of the season.
Hold on. Let's
They were 3-3.
Slow your roll over there, sir. They're going to be the talk of the off season. Okay, let's just get that out of our heads right now. I prefer a quiet off season as opposed to being most talked about.
The off season.
Look, I think they will get it. I think the Lions are the de facto pick. Yeah. I mean, they've had the Jets on before. There's nothing interesting about the Carolina Panthers. The Lions at least have a few first-round draft picks that could be really interesting going into next season.
Right.
They have an interesting story in like a Jeff Okudah who should have been, he's like a boomer bust guy right now. You have a head coach in Dan Campbell who's a walking, talking sound machine.
Soundbite machine.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And, the Lions are kind of now that next team up, especially after the Bengals get into the Super Bowl. The Lions are now kind of that next team. The Bengals snapped all those droughts, all those, 30 years without a playoff win. And now all those fall on Detroit with now the longest droughts of a lot of this stuff. And hi, HBO. My name's Adam Snow, and I'm literally writing the narrative for you. I don't know who your narrator guy is, but allow me to sit down with him and write this script because it's practically writing itself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm done. Okay.
All right. That's enough on the Twitter poll. All right. Arena Football TV on YouTube.
There's 52 minutes left in the poll at the time of this recording, just so everybody
I don't
knows.
think anybody's going to vote anymore. By the time they hear this, the poll will be closed anyway.
Okay, I'll unpin that tweet.
Okay. Arena Football TV on YouTube. Another great game was posted just today, I believe, from the 2005 season, from Week 4. It's the Orlando Predators at the Dallas Desperados.
Ooh.
So that was a good... I thought maybe Clint Dozell was the quarterback of that team.
Was it right? I told you he wasn't.
No, it was Clint Sterner. But I'm listening. Of course, he was a head coach by then of the Philadelphia Soul. But I know he did quarterback the Desperados for a short time. And as soon as I said Clint, I'm like, oh, it is Clint Dozell. Clint Sterner, the quarterback, Dallas Desperados. So, okay. So, yeah, so go check that game out, as well as hundreds of other arena football games out there on YouTube.
Good quality content over there on the Arena Football TV channel. What? I'm serious. Why are you laughing at me?
The video quality is not that good sometimes. But
hold on. You try finding that sort of stuff and cleaning it up.
I know,
I'm
these
sure
are
he's
all
digging,
off of VHS
He's
tapes.
probably going around to all these TV stations, kicking down doors and finding all these VHS tapes, just collecting dust, and he's doing the Lord's work, just getting it on the internet, okay?
I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, so stop your complaining.
I'm not complaining.
Gosh. What is with you today?
I got a headache.
Oh,
And you're not
giving me a headache.
And you're not making it any better. All right, we're going to move on to obituaries. We've got a couple of obituaries today. This is where we take a moment and honor those who've made the world of football a better place. Our first obituary today is Tim Van Galder, a quarterback in the NFL for 7 seasons, give or take. He dies at the age of 88. Van Galder played college football at Iowa State and was selected in the 6th round of the 1966 NFL Draft by the St. Louis Cardinals. He was on the team from 66 to 72 as a backup and finally got on the field in 1972. He started 5 games in his final season and posted a record of 1-3-1. His only win was a 10-3 victory in the season opener over the Baltimore Colts. He then became a local St. Louis television sportscaster for TV station KMOV Channel 4. He was there for 13 years. Van Galder eventually became the station's sports director and also worked in sports talk radio.
Our next obituary is that of Jim Hillier, who coached in college, the NFL, and the USFL, as well as the AF2, and has passed away at the age of 86. Hillier played college football at Stetson University, where he played guard and linebacker. He played pro football for the Orlando Thunderbirds of the Continental Football League from 1958 to 1960. Hillier began his coaching career as an assistant coach at Mississippi State University from 1963 to 1967 and at Auburn University from 1968 to 1973. He was an assistant coach with the NFL's Washington Redskins in 1974 and returned to coach Auburn from 1977 to 1981. He then became an assistant coach with the Birmingham Stallions of the United States Football League in 1982. Hillier was named the first head coach at the University of Alabama, Birmingham in 1991. In 4 seasons as head coach at UAB through 1994, he led the Blazers to a record of 27-12-1. He was also the special teams coach for the Alabama Steel Dogs of Arena Football 2 in the year 2000. Hillier was named to the UAB Athletics Hall of Fame class of 2020.
What a career. I mean, he's been all over the place. Yeah. Played in the Continental Football League, and a lot of people aren't familiar with that, but that was almost like a feeder league to the NFL. You know, a lot of NFL teams would send their players to play in the Continental League to get a little, more playing time, and then come back up to the NFL or whatever. And so, yeah, I mean, what an incredible career for this gentleman. We do also have a couple birthdays today. February 1st. Quarterback Joey Sternum was born on this date in 1900 and died in 1988 at the age of 88. Played his college football at Illinois and played 9 NFL seasons. He was with the Chicago Bears from 1922 to 1925, and then again from 1927 to 1929. He was the head coach of the Duluth Kellys in 1923, and he was also the head coach of the Chicago Bulls of the American Football League. That was the league that Red Grange broke away and started his own league that year. Head coach of the AFL Chicago Bulls in 1926. He's the brother of Dutch Sternum, who was the original co-owner of the Chicago Bears along with George Halas. And then the other birthday today is that of quarterback Wade Wilson, born on this day in 1959. He passed away on February 1st, 2019, at the age of 60. So he died on his birthday. That's a little bit weird. He played college football at Texas A&M Commerce. He was selected in the 8th round of the 1981 NFL Draft by the Minnesota Vikings. Played 17 NFL seasons. He was with the Vikings from 81 to 91. He was with the Atlanta Falcons in 1992. New Orleans Saints, 93 to 94. Dallas Cowboys from 1995 to 1997. And the Oakland Raiders in 1998. Those are your birthdays for today. All right, unless you've found something on your phone that we want to talk about before we get into today's history lesson.
Not really. I mean, there is one news story that's kind of floating around. It was kind of breaking when we before we hit record. We're kind of waiting for some developments, so maybe we'll talk about this more next week. But the lawsuit of former Dolphins head coach Brian Flores against the NFL and several teams and apparently other individuals who are unnamed. Very interesting stuff. I was kind of skimming through the article before we went rolling, but it's still kind of vague and still kind of early. The news just broke, but it's such a heavy subject matter that I was like, oh, maybe we should wait a week to let things kind of settle. But the fact that he's suing the NFL for, I think it's racial discrimination, or just there's racism in their practices of hiring. So this is definitely something that we're all going to have to keep an eye on the upcoming week for sure. Okay. And obviously further, because if this is true, I mean, shame on these teams and all this stuff.
Well, there's John Gruden was suing the NFL. We haven't really heard anything on that front in quite a while. He was upset with being fired and was mad that they were, finding tweets and things that he had sent. And I haven't heard a thing about that in probably 2 months.
Right.
But we'll see what happens.
And then another story from earlier this morning was the NFL awarding $1 million in research funding for studies on cannabis or cannabinoids, I believe is how you say that. Cannabinoids effects on pain management and neuroprotection from concussion. So, so I won't say it's only $1 million. I mean, shoot, it's still $1 million. So any money going into research for this sort of stuff, I think, is important. And I'm glad to at least. Who knows? I mean, it's probably all just PR, whatever. But it's nice to at least see maybe the NFL is starting to do stuff that is probably necessary. Looking into these things for the health of the players.
Yep. Okay. Well, then let's go on to this week's history lesson. And this week, all this month, we're going to be featuring stories on the Black History Month banner.
We have a banner. I was going to say, it's like, oh, where are you going with this? You're doing a lot of uhs.
I couldn't think what I wanted to say.
Toastmasters 101.
But this is Black History Month, so every week we're going to do a different Black History Month story.
Yep.
And this week we have a profile of Bernie Custis, who was a pioneering quarterback in the Canadian Football League. When it comes to pioneering black quarterbacks in the modern era, many consider Marlon Briscoe to be the first. He played quarterback for the Denver Broncos in 1968. There was also Willie Thrower, who appeared in one game at quarterback for the Chicago Bears in 1953. But before either of those two black quarterbacks ever set foot on a pro football field, there was Bernie Custis, who played quarterback for the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the Canadian Football League. Custis grew up in Philadelphia and was a star quarterback in college at Syracuse University from 1948 to 1950. He was selected in the 11th round of the 1951 NFL Draft by the Cleveland Browns. The Browns, however, wanted to convert Custis to safety since they already had a pretty good quarterback in Otto Graham. But Custis did not want to switch positions. The Browns agreed to release Custis on the condition that he not sign with another NFL team. Custis agreed and signed with the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the Canadian Football League. He started every game of the 1951 season at quarterback for the Tiger Cats. He led the team to a 7-5 record and a playoff berth. Hamilton beat the Toronto Argonauts in the 2-game semifinal round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. The first game was played on November 7th in Toronto. Hamilton won the game 24-7. 3 days later, on November 10th, Hamilton lost to Toronto in Hamilton 21-7. Hamilton won the 2-game series with a combined score of 31-28. They advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they lost in a 2-game series with the Ottawa Rough Riders by a combined score of 28-16. Custis remained with the Tiger Cats through 1955 and played halfback after his first season with the team. He won a Grey Cup title with Hamilton in 1953. He was traded to Ottawa during the 1955 season and retired in 1956 due to an injury. After his playing career was over, Custis stayed in Canada, where he spent 35 years as a teacher and a principal. He also spent 8 seasons as the head coach of the Burlington Braves of the Canadian Junior Football League from 1964 to 1972. He was the head coach of the McMaster University Marauders in Hamilton from 1981 to 1988, and was named the Ontario University Athletic Association Coach of the Year in 1982 and 1984. Custis later spent time as a player scout for the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Toronto Argonauts. He was inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in 1998 as a builder. He was also inducted into the Syracuse University Hall of Fame in 1977, the McMaster University Sports Hall of Fame in 2000, the City of Burlington Sports Hall of Fame in 2008, and the Hamilton Sports Hall of Fame in 2013. Bernie Custis died in Burlington, Ontario on February 23, 2017, at the age of 88. In August of 2019, the Bernie Custis Secondary School opened in Hamilton. The new high school, named in his honor, is located right across the street from Tim Hortons Field, formerly Ivor Wynne Stadium, where Custis played during his CFL career. Bernie Custis was a man who succeeded as a player, as a coach, and as an educator. And he has several Halls of Fame inductions and a high school named after him as proof.
I think it's cool whenever we get to Black History Month because you always get excited. You always got 4, stories ready to go.
Yep.
You got them locked in.
Yep.
And I just like seeing your drive and passion for it. And another great story you pulled out here, and of a guy that not a lot of people probably know about.
No, a guy from Philadelphia. He grew up, in Philadelphia, played for Syracuse University, but NFL didn't want him as a quarterback. So once again, we have had several stories like that. They go up to Canada, they flourish, they find they like Canada, and they wind up staying in Canada. And as he did, and had a very successful career and just succeeded in everything he touched. Whatever he did, he was a success at it. So that's Bernie Custis. All right, upcoming events. Well, we've got a bunch of them coming up. Tomorrow, the Washington football team is set to unveil their new name and logo.
Yes.
We just might do a little video on that once we see what it is. Everybody's saying it's going to be Commanders.
That's been the leak.
Yep. We'll find out if we're right or if it's going to be something totally different.
Yeah, if they come out of left field with something. The Washington... My coworker came up with a really cool name. What if they were just the Stealth? Like you're in Washington,
like Washington Stealth,
or the DC. I was like the DC Stealth. That would be a great name. Too little, too late, apparently. But
there was the Kansas City Stealth. Arena Football League.
No, they were the Brigade.
Well, there was a team called the Stealth because their helmet was a B2.
Wichita Stealth.
Was it Wichita? Okay.
I want to say it was the Wichita Stealth.
That was in another league. It wasn't the Arena League, but it might have been indoor.
I'm sure somebody will go out there and validate that I'm smart.
But there's a really nice helmet. There's a silver helmet with a B2 Stealth bomber on it. I do remember the team.
Yep.
All right. This Thursday, February 3rd, the East-West Shrine Game is going to be played in Las Vegas. On Saturday the 5th, the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama.
That's going to be interesting because I like what they did this year with the 2 coaching staffs. How the Lions staff, Dan Campbell is our head coach, but they did something really neat, and I like this, that they elevated other position coaches up to, like, the head coach. So it's not going to be Dan Campbell as the head coach for this game. It'll be I forget. I don't have the list in front of me, but like one of the Lions' other coaches. Deuce Staley, the assistant coach, will be the head coach for the game.
Oh, okay.
And so I think that's really cool. I didn't see who the Jets elevated, but I thought that was a real cool initiative. If you're going to have an NFL coaching staff do this, also use this as an opportunity for these coaches to kind of get different roles. And
that is a good idea.
I mean,
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, you go look into that. Maybe we could talk about that after the Senior Bowl next week, because obviously we'll talk about that game.
Yep.
Because at least that game will have a little bit of meaning behind it as opposed to the Pro Bowl. But
yeah, the next day is the Pro Bowl in Las Vegas. That'll be interesting to see how that all takes place. But
I'm sure if you watch the broadcast for the Senior Bowl too, they'll probably talk about some of that stuff. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of cool stories. So that if you already were going to watch the Senior Bowl, this should be an added incentive to watch it. And if you weren't going to watch it, I would watch now just to see some of the the featurettes or the little stories that go along with the game. Because sometimes the game is secondary.
Right.
Because we're not all scouts. I think us average fans would like to think we're scouts sitting there going, well, I hope my team drafts that quarterback out of Tulane over there in the west side.
I'll blow your nose.
How dare you, sir? I am a professional NFL scout.
Yeah. Go back
sitting on my couch in my mother's basement.
Go back to your Dungeons and Dragons game. Hey, who's the coaching staff for the other team? The Lions are doing one team.
The Jets.
The Jets. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then, Pro Bowl on the 6th, and then we've got a whole another week, and then it's the Super Bowl 56, between the Bengals and the Rams in Los Angeles. Moving on a little bit further, February 22nd through the 23rd, the USFL Player Selection Meeting. So these teams they have logos. Michigan's is awful, but they don't have any players yet, so we'll see what kind of players they get. Yep. March 1st through the 7th, the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. March 21st, USFL training camps open. Saturday, April 16th, USFL season begins in Birmingham, and I think it's going to be Birmingham and New Jersey in the first game. And then April 28th through the 30th, the NFL Draft in Las Vegas. Las Vegas has got all kinds of stuff going on this year with All-Star games and Pro Bowl and
hey, you got to make some use out of that brand new stadium.
Yeah.
And then also we were just talking about that Brian Flores story, the little blurb that just came up on my ESPN app, and I'm sure a lot of people out there got the same one. Brian Flores alleges that the Dolphins owner Stephen Ross offered $100,000 for every loss in the 2019 season to improve their draft spot.
Wow.
If that is true, if that is even remotely true, this story is going to be insanely big. Like this, that's already
we could have new ownership in Miami.
Boy, if that is found out to be true, the whole everybody is anti-tanking, or like people are like, oh yeah, we should tank to get a better draft.
Right.
The players never want to do it, but the fact that an owner I don't know this story just got some more layers to it. That's insane.
Yeah. Well,
we'll have to wait and see. I mean,
we'll know more next week. It's way too soon for us to.
But just that, oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm reading that with my actual two eyes.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we've got for this week. If you learned something during this podcast about the incredible amount of diversity that exists in the world of football, then we have done our job. Visit our website at theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, videos, and more. Our email address is info@theworldoffootball.com.
Okay, I've been reading your script for how many episodes in a row now?
A bunch.
234. And you still have not spelled your website domain correctly in the rundown. I am doing that right now.
What?
That has bugged me. You've always had it as one L. Football. I just changed it. Okay. I'm changing it. Good Lord.
Hey, I know what I'm reading.
Well,
I know what it's supposed to say.
Yeah. You can also like The World of Football, spelled correctly, on Facebook at TWOF Kalamazoo, where we post a lot of unique stories and pictures as well as highlights from all over the world of football. You can also follow our Twitter account, where we just had that poll unpinned, so we'll have to see if I come up with a new poll. The address there is at TWOF Kalamazoo. New episodes of this very podcast are posted every Tuesday, and we might have to put a couple up on Mondays coming up. I mean, we've debated... We only do Tuesdays because of Monday Night Football.
Right.
But maybe for the Super Bowl and Pro Bowl, we do it on Monday now?
Well, maybe after the Super Bowl, we might do it on Tuesday, but then for the rest of the off season, we could do it on Mondays.
I don't know. I'm okay with Tuesday. People are used to the Tuesday, darn it. I'm used to Tuesday. But I'm just saying.
Then why'd you bring it up?
I don't know. Because you never know. We do occasionally have to do it on a Wednesday.
There are
because
reasons, yes. There are extenuating circumstances sometimes.
I mean, I know we've talked about going on a hiatus, so we'll see how that works out too. You can find this podcast when we're not on hiatus, and if we're on hiatus, at SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Our YouTube channel is The World of Football Kalamazoo, so please subscribe, rate, review, give us a like, leave us a comment on any videos you so choose, and let us know what you think. Please come be a part of the football conversation, you guys.
All season long, we've been doing our weekly NFL picks, and the season's basically over now, so we've only got one more to go. And those are exclusively on our YouTube channel, usually on Thursday. And I'm not sure when we're going to post our.
So this week our video that'll probably go up if we do one tomorrow on the Washington announcement, because hey, we figured we don't want to wait a whole week to talk about it on the podcast. Hey, this might be something cool to do, just as a one-off story. So we'll see if we do that or not. Just how circumstances work. Because this week we're not going to pick the Pro Bowl.
No.
So we'll be back a week after that to do our Super Bowl picks video.
I predict there will be a winner, no tie.
I concur.
Can you bet on the Pro Bowl? I'll bet if you go into one of your
I haven't looked at that.
apps,
I was looking at the Super Bowl odds.
Yeah, they'll want you to bet on it. Which team's going to win? Who's going to score more points?
Give me the AFC 46, the NFC 45.
Throw your money away.
Yeah.
Go do that. All right. And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody out there, loves more football than we do. Join us again next week when we'll review all the happenings in and around the world of football. Until then, I'm Randy Snow.
And I'm his co-host, Adam Snow, his son, his heir, the ward.
That's enough.
Understudy.
We'll see you all next week.
What are some other words? Sidekick.
Pain in my butt.
Ow.